Alright, the Reds talking, Reds, the dream team back together for one day only. Gareth Roberts and Craig Hannan.
Don't say that.
Hello to Craig's mum. Hi.
Don't say that.
What we're doing on today's one is we're answering questions off the internet, but because some of my Anfield colleagues are shithouses, they didn't want to ask Twitter because they're scared of it at the moment. So they asked Instagram instead. So
they're nicer, the Instagram fellas, aren't they?
Apparently so. Maybe it's because there aren't loads of City fans on the Instagram account and there are on Twitter, and they're still banging on about grass and that. It's great being an internet superstar, by the way. Thanks the internet. Jack Yude, our boss of the Reds. Boss, aren't they?
Yeah, no, they are. I think look, it's been 2 defeats, but it's we have to think of those 2 defeats in context of where we are. We're 4 points clear at the top of the league. One of them was people are taking pictures of us from outside. I don't think they're taking pictures of us, by the way. Like they're not. It's the building, not us. I think one of them, obviously, the FA Cup was a changed team.
9 changes.
9 changes, and
3 teenagers on the pitch,
and 1 16-year-old, which is absolutely wild.
And another defeat against the reigning champions, who got over 100 points last season.
And it wasn't a defeat where we were battered. Where it was, I thought we played really well. I thought it was a brilliant game of football, and ultimately they won the game. So, I think if it's been said loads, but if we were at this stage 4 points clear, having just beat City to go 4 points clear, then the mood would be completely different. And I think we need to beat Brighton now at the weekend. It's a massive game because you don't want a narrative to be created by the media whereby 3 defeats in a row, is it a crisis, blah blah blah. And yeah, up the Reds. The Reds are still boss.
Someone gets a cob on if I ever take the piss out of your accent, so narrative. I mean,
he's been doing it before the video as well. He hasn't, a little behind the scenes. He keeps saying Torres the whole morning.
And don't worry about
it.
Don't worry, you don't mind, do you?
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No,
we're mates, that's the way it works. Don't worry about it, mate. Don't get your knickers in a twist. But yeah, the Reds, I did the show this week, preview show. It's already out there. Have a look for the Brighton game. It's out there on YouTube. And we were saying on that about the idea that, there was this thing that went around for a while about, Liverpool blew it 2 times once before in the Premier League area when they led at Christmas. Well, they were already behind by this point.
Yeah.
21 games. So 21 games were 4 points ahead. So we're better off than those seasons now. So that particular stat and that particular idea can be put to bed. And I think all of that should be put to bed anyway, because this is a different team, different set of people, different manager. And I just honestly think that there's so much that's right about it. Like they've been playing well for 21 games. They've been playing well the back end of last season. They reached the Champions League final, which for me is a positive. It's hard to do that. And it's the first back-to-back defeat since May. And even then, that was the defeat.
Sides.
But yeah, and it was the defeat to Roma, which we still qualified for the next round anyway. And then we lost to Chelsea in the league. So I just think that the mindset of this particular group of players is always good, and I'd be very surprised if they're all down in the dumps about where they are. I think it's just, these days, the way football media is, and particularly in the mainstream, they just find anything to be negative about. I've mentioned before that I've obviously worked in the national press, and conflict and negativity sells papers, gets clicks, gets people doing the banter thing on the internet, which is incredibly tiresome. And so that's why you constantly, that's why someone will, anytime there's a defeat, there's a hint of a problem, someone somewhere will write about it, will talk about it, will make an issue out of it. But how much is it actually an issue behind the scenes? How much of it is an issue at Melwood? I don't think it is one. I think if you're going into work, which is what it is to them, you're absolutely loving it. You're going in, you're looking around the pitch, you're seeing Van Dijk there, you're seeing Mo Salah there, and you're going, we've got a fantastic team here and we can beat anyone, and that's the mindset that I think the Reds have got and I have had for a long time.
Yeah, I think definitely you've spoken about character loads in the past, and I think this team's showing over the past year in particular that it's got character.
Character, yeah.
And yeah, I think there's people have tried to compare this with the 08-09 season, the 13-14 season. I think it is completely different. It's completely different calibre of squad. Exactly. Never mind first team, and so I'd probably say the grass is greener in terms of.
See what you did there. Yeah. There's green shoots of recovery already. Is Klopp's desire to have a small squad a hindrance or a positive, says Kenny R24. I think that's a good question, Kenny, because I think there is two sides to it, which is what he's hinting at. So one is that, you know, it's really obvious that Klopp likes to have a group that he can trust, that's on board, that's tight-knit, get on. And you've seen how quick he sort of jettisons anyone who's a problem child. Like you saw how he treated Mamadou Sakho, for instance. And I think it's interesting the way, like, there's a constant thirst for, you know, more players, better players, and I get that. And I, you know, if you said to me like Koulibaly was signing tomorrow, well, I'd be out on the aisle, I'd be made up. But I think that the problem is, and Klopp obviously always talks about it, is, well, if you get him in and he's playing every week, and then Joe Gomez gets fit, and Joe Gomez is like, well, what about me, love? And then all of a sudden you've got yourself a problem there. And like, so I think the constant idea that everything is fixed by making the squad bigger or stronger or buying more players, like, he doesn't really subscribe to it, does he? And that's his way of management, and we're just going to have to suck it up. And right now it's working. So I get what he's on about. I mean, I think there are times where you think, fucking hell, yeah, and you know, you could have done something there, you could have bought one more. And there's always that, you know, even right now, like, you know, we're in the middle of a window. And if you said, like I say, if you said he was signing Koulibaly, I'd be made up. If you said he was signing one more striker that was better than Divock Origi and Daniel Sturridge, again, I'd be made up, because, you know, there's always that worry that, yes, the front three is absolutely brilliant, but you know, you're falling off a cliff a little bit when any of them aren't there. So, you know, it'd be fantastic to have someone in of high quality, but then there's the problem, and you can just go on forever, can't you? Because the person with high quality that you go and target and try and buy, they look at it and go, well, am I getting a game when that's their front three?
I think that's what we found difficult in the summer as well. Like, Shaqiri obviously come in, and the sell to Shaqiri was, well, you're signing from Stoke, and this is, you know, you will be back up, but, you know, if you do well, you'll get a place in the side. And I think he's been proven what a quality player he is. I think that you're right, it's a difficult sell to someone like Koulibaly, where you know, the Reds are brilliant, but they'll have Van Dijk and Gomez, or if you get Koulibaly in, we're just saying this isn't, you know, this isn't out of nothing, but we're just using this as an example. If you get Koulibaly in, then what are you saying to Joe Gomez? Well, you're saying, well, you're right back. Well, then what are you saying to Trent? So I think what Klopp's done brilliantly over this season in particular is how he seems to have sold it to the players, not just the players that are in the first team playing every week, but the players who are on the bench, who are not even in the bench. Seems to have been able to sell them some sort of story whereby if you perform, you'll get in the team, you'll be given chances, and you know, you see. I know obviously this is a bad example now because Sturridge was terrible the other night, but even earlier in the season, whatever he said to Sturridge in the summer had made Sturridge believe, this is the right place for me, whether it's on the bench, whether it's not. And you see him come off the bench, he scores against Chelsea, scores against PSG and that sort of thing. Shaqiri is the main example of this. And so these players have, you know, Jurgen Klopp has sold in this story that everyone is important as everyone. And he's been able to do that because it's a close-knit squad, it's a small squad that he'll rotate. Look, as fans, we'd always want one more, but I'd love one to be signed. And I think as well that January transfer window.
It's hard for any of those fringe players right now to have a real moan. I mean, I know Moreno sort of did the interview in Spanish and what have you, but that aside, there hasn't really been anything. But how do you moan? Because like, if you go and knock on Klopp's door and say, should be in the side there, you'd just be like, seen the league table. Well,
how many ex-players have you said that's you know, discontent only happens whenever the team aren't doing well, because the players that are on the bench can't really moan because the players in front of them are doing the business. It's only whenever results start to you know, stop going your way, really, that then the discontent spreads, because these players believe that they should be playing because they're better than the players that aren't getting those results. So as long as Liverpool keep winning, then in happy days, I think it'll be a happy squad, and then we'll reassess things in the summer.
Steve07805 on Instagram says, hi guys, have you ever tried getting an interview with Graham Souness? Yes, on several occasions, and through different people as well. We did used to do a digital magazine back a few years ago, and release it sort of via iTunes and stuff like that, and it was really innovative, and it contained video and a live show and audio, and it looked brilliant and all the rest of it. And while we were doing that, Mike Nevin wrote a really good piece on Graham Souness, just on what a great player he was, how influential he was at Liverpool at the time and all that sort of stuff, and got into a little bit about why his sort of legacy, a bit of a shame that his legacy as a player was tainted by what came with when he was in charge as a manager and all that kind of thing. And Graham Souness actually got in touch with Mike and said, thanks very much for the piece, like, great, and you seem to think more highly of me than I thought of myself, type of thing. So that was nice, and we sort of thought, well, that might be a bit of a way in. So we asked around then, and he just sort of said, well, yeah, maybe one day, but not right now. So that was that over. And then in more recent times, a friend of ours from America knows him well, and he actually pitched to him on my behalf and said, I think, like, Gareth, would be great to interview you about, sort of talking again about those management years, but talk about sort of the problems and what put it into a bit more context rather than everyone just going, Souness was shit as a manager, wasn't he? Like, what were the problems he faced? How difficult was it, and all that kind of thing. Anyway, we pitched it, and we were really careful about how we pitched it. And again, it's not come to anything. And to be fair, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk to him about, I don't know if you've seen it, but he did a thing where he was in the studio with, like, Carragher and Neville, and he got into a lot of it that day, and it was really good. I think you can find it on YouTube if you're interested. And he was almost in tears at one point and that sort of stuff. So I think he'll probably think now, well, I've covered a lot of that, so sort of, what's in it for me, if you like. So I don't know, it looks to me that particular idea is probably quite dead in the water at the moment in terms of getting Souness. But if anyone knows him, you never know. On the off chance, or if you're watching, Graham, we'd love to interview you whenever you want, mate. So yeah, it would be great to get him on at some point, but right now doesn't look hopeful on that score. What else? Fancy any more of these?
Does Naby deserve a start against Brighton, or do we stick with Hendo and Gini? I think Henderson, there's talk that he's maybe going to be injured this weekend, which so what's your team? What's your team for Brighton? Because I know we've got problems at centre back.
I wouldn't especially. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Fabinho is going to be playing centre half. I think that's sort of nailed on. I mean, the only other thing you could maybe say is that he does something mad again and plays sort of three at the back. I mean, when we played Brighton last time, December 2017, Gini plays in defence for the first time in his career, and we win 5-1. So, there's those sort of mad options, if you like. But on Naby, I probably wouldn't be starting him now. I don't think he's done enough in recent times to be warranting a start. And I think, like, this is so vital that we go out and win it. And people might go, oh, it's only Brighton, and you can see how much the odds favour Liverpool, and they haven't beat us in the Premier League era, and Chris Hughton hasn't won against Liverpool, and all of those things that all sound really positive, but there's still that thing at the back of your mind where you're like, we're top of the league and we've got to keep winning every week, and every game becomes absolutely vital. And so what I'm saying is, I don't think he veers away from what he trusts too much right now. And you heard him talk about Naby and say, basically admit that he's been struggling a bit, which we can all see. So I'd be very surprised if he all of a sudden gets a start against Brighton. Maybe come on. I think what he's got to do at the moment, Naby, is come on and have good cameos and get himself a goal, show what we saw when he was at Leipzig. But right now he's struggling a little bit to be consistent. And you saw the other night, I thought, where there was one where he burst past a couple of midfielders and looked really good, but then later he overhits the pass to Mo, and it wasn't the hardest pass in the world, but you could see him beating himself up. So he's obviously not in the right place mentally, I don't think, at the moment. So I'd be very surprised if he got a start. I
think, like, we've seen little bits from him, haven't we? I think that's the thing that makes us believe and know that there's a real player in there, whether you'd watch him in Bundesliga or not. Like, I remember he comes on against Paris Saint-Germain away from home, Saint-Germain away from home, and he looked PSG, and he looked really good, and he what I love about him is his first instinct as soon as he gets the ball is to turn and take on players, and that's something that we haven't seen from a few of our midfielders.
Played well at Burnley, didn't he?
He did as well. Well, he gets that. He plays in that game, and I think he plays against Bournemouth. He starts against Bournemouth as well, based on.
Did the double nutmeg at Bournemouth?
Yeah, he did. Like, within the first few minutes, and I think that was. You felt as if maybe this is the beginning, like a little bit of momentum for him and build of confidence, but it hasn't really happened for him over the latter stages of the Christmas period, and. look, I think once he gets one game where he's brilliant, and then they start him in the next, I think we'll start to see Naby Keita, and it may well be next season where you see the real Naby Keita. I think now you're right. Every game is a cup final. And we're halfway through the season, 4 points clear, so every game is so important, and I think he probably does stick with his tried and test it. I think the centre back is going to be, I'm quite excited to see Fabinho on centre back if he does play him, because
he'll be fine.
He looked really good, and I wouldn't be surprised if Van Dijk and Fabinho just become the best centre back partnership ever. But yeah, look, I think Liverpool fans, because we've been let down so many times before, we're going into this sort of game after 2 defeats, there is that little bit of worry in my head, but there's this Liverpool team have been proving people wrong over the past 12 months, and you're going into my Instagram there?
Yes. Checking out your DMs, that? Oh yeah.
The Alexander Arnold Instagram. But yeah, it's a massive game. I'm excited for it, and look, I wouldn't put it past the Reds to hammer in a few like they did last season. But yeah, just stay 4 points clear, and even if Wolves can do the business against Man City, then fingers crossed.
And if you are down in Brighton, there is an Anfield Wrap show there tonight. Still tickets available, I believe, and the Anfield Wrap live experience is a good one. I know some people sort of struggle with the idea of it and go, well, I can't get my head around it. Well, neither can I really, still to this day, but it is good and it works. Basically, it's a laugh. It's just sort of having a bevy, and it's sort of, the live experience of, the podcast, the videos, but it's not just that. It's not just a bunch of lads talking. Neil's a really good host. He gets the audience involved, play a few games, quizzes and things like that, give a few things away. And believe me, everyone who goes tends to have a big laugh, so it'd be great. The Brighton Cop lads will all be there. They're a great bunch of people as well. They've helped us organise this, so thanks very much to them. So if you're down in Brighton, I know a lot of people are making a big weekend of it because it's a long trek. If you're going down there and you're round and about, come and get involved with the live show. Look out for the lads in general over the weekend and go and say hello as well. I'm gutted myself that I couldn't be there because we went down there, me and Sam, and we filmed some stuff for the preview show which I mentioned, which is also on YouTube. Check it out. And while we were down there, we really enjoyed ourselves, and I had a look around that day and thought this would be a great place to have a pint and all the rest of it. And I'm glad someone who's watched the preview show got the Quadrophenia references. Just at least one person got them, so that was good. But yeah, if you're down there, say hello. And then of course as well, there'll be all the content that you'd expect from the Anfield Wrap over the weekend. So there's stuff previewing the match, there'll be stuff straight after the match, both podcasts and video. I'll still be doing a video up here in Liverpool post-match from Motel Bar. So yeah, get onto all of that stuff. Check out the AnfieldWrap.com as well, loads of writing as ever. That's been Talking Reds. I enjoyed it. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Up the Reds. Please abuse me in the comments like you always do.